Amity Nemurou! Yoroshiku, yoroshiku! Hello, Grim! Hello, Shugo! Hi, friend! How are you doing? Just stopping by for a tiny bit? No worries, get a snack break and then go get your own problem. Do it! I'm not guilty! You can't prove nothing, Hound! Nothing! We're trying to reverse the guilty! We're trying to reverse it! And we got guilty again last time, guys. Spoiler alert, we got guilty again. I can't figure this out. How are the vibes, everyone? I hope they're treating you well. I'm a little achy, a little sleepy, because my cool bus decided not to show up again, so I had to take the long way back. Yeah, it's okay. I got some floating exercise in, which is good, which is very good. And here we are. I got my water bottle. Plop! It's full. It's big. I'm ready to rumble. I'm ready for a good week. Nom 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 nom. Nom 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 nom. My goal today is to finish up this trial. I don't know how much longer this trial is. Hello, Teapots. Hello, Lecter. I'm doing fantabulous. Hello. We're all gonna reverse this guilty verdict, because that's not good for us. We don't want guilty. We're not guilty. Okay, I'm just gonna get everything all set up. Let's head on to the gaming room. It never shows up immediately. I don't know why it does that to me. Why does it hate me? Will your thighs finally be convicted this time? Never! I am not guilty of nothing but being adorable. Oh, that's really quiet on my end. Let's up that. How's that volume? How's that volume, everybody? Who's ready? Who's ready? I'm ready. Back to the case of the clouded kokoro. I'm glad. So now we have to try and get a not guilty, because everyone's like, guilty! Alright, says that just as I'm about to do the old man voice. You beat me to the guilty being cute. Well, time to completely derail that train of thought.
I have considered the defense's counsel request for a further summation examination of the jury.
You're here to judge my thighs, you meanie. My thighs aren't on trial today.
That's next week. And I have determined that the court must uphold the defense's judicial right to this procedure. So, counsel, will you now proceed with your second summation examination? I presume the jury is ready, Mr. Foreman.
I love this guy's voice.
We are, my lord. Very good. In that case, I must ask each of you now to state clearly and concisely for the court the grounds on which you find the defendant guilty of this crime.
I'm feeling really silly today. Trials next week. See you. I think to nothing. This is entrapment. I'm exercising my right to an attorney. The juror's contentions. The accused left behind evidence at the scene, didn't he? Of those 3 books of his. If there was some novel alternative explanation about how the victim was stabbed, I might reconsider. Those would be during the spicy art stream. Shh. Even if the woman was throwing books, it can't be related to this crime if the window was closed, can it? Damn me, it was only a little book, hardly life-threatening even with a direct hit.
Look, I just want to get this over with. I don't know, if I don't bring home some pay tonight, it'll be a tiny bit of trouble. Come to think of it, we had a fire at home a while ago. Gave me the sneezes.
What the heck?
Yes, considerably more tangible arguments from all the members of the jury this time around, it seems.
But not all of them.
With one notable exception, of course.
There you go.
My learned student friend was unable to find fault in the previous witness testimony.
Yeah.
So the court must accept the fact that it was indeed the accused fleeing from the scene.
The old man is allergic to fire? I think it might have been all the smoke making him go like, choo!
And moreover...
Stop doing that! This is why maybe the Ripper of the Valley is all the people die because of his wine negligence.
No one else was even at the scene of the crime to commit the crime. None of the eyewitnesses are correct, it would seem, as the conclusion is somewhat set in stone.
That is why we can't have nice things. You're right, Shugo. He's going to cause another fire. By the way, did they ever check on the guy that they hit with the bottle? They okay?
I fail to see how it can be argued any other way.
That means I'm afraid that during the summation examination, it's essential that you establish some other tangible explanation for the facts. Oh, he's got so much. I bet it's not even like expensive wine. I bet he gets the cheap stuff. He's like, oh, I'm just going to be throwing it around anyway.
Isn't it obvious? Who stabbed the woman and how? Those 2 details are all you need to provide. Simply give us a name and a method by which the attack was conducted.
And there I was thinking this might be hard. But Mr. Naruhodo, you have to do it. Otherwise it really will be where the trial ends. Ugh, no pressure then.
That's quite enough preamble. Proceed with the summation examination, please. I presume you're prepared, counsel.
Oh yes, my lord. Right. All right, you're gonna escape. Focus your mind right now. Hello, Alexis! Smack! Clearly the key to the summation examination is going to be the jar number 4, the maid. Or should I say, Miss Garredev. We have a book of her that disappeared from Mr. Garredev's house at the evening of the incident. And the 4th book found in the victim's hand. There must be a way to link this to the two. Yes, that's what we have to find. Oh, that's what I said. Using every technique I've learned in my short career so far, whatever it takes. The man is tasting wine during cases and throwing it the ones he doesn't like. He's very picky. He hasn't liked any of them so far. Don't forget to keep an eye on Mrs. Garredev and how she reacts, even to the other things people say. Jury examination. The defense's rebuttal. I'm just gonna check the court record real quick. Maybe I can see, like, if there's anything on the inside. Can't find anything out of place. Open the book, you silly! His name might be on the front! Open it! Oh, here we go, Lion's Pride. Let me see. It's a book entitled The Lion's Pride. I'm afraid I don't know any English literature at all. So it wouldn't be something I've heard... Wait a minute. The Lion's Pride? That's strange. I think I have heard of a book by that name before. And very recently, too. Oh, we already know this. I recognize the title, too, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, yeah, that was just them saying, oh, we know this book. Blech. Alright. Uh-huh. My question is... So there's nothing noteworthy about this knife. And we weren't able to find anything else here. We got the books. She's got a book in her hand. Is that a piece of... What is that little nip right there? Huh! I don't know what that is. I think I might be reading into this. Your books. Calabash. Alright. I've goofed around enough. The accused left behind evidence of the safe, didn't I? That's 3 books of his. Hold it! Let's press! But as we now know, there were 4 books, not 3. Well, what's the difference does it make? There's every possibility that the 4th book belongs to the defendant's landlord. Yes, that's the part I have a problem with. Sorry? Well, at the point the woman was stabbed, his landlord was the fellow was at home, wasn't he? Enjoying a fiery scrap with his wife or something, you said. That's not exactly how I put it, no. Well, anyway, the point is, the fellow and his wife and someone else went after. I think that's what you call a strong alibi. So it couldn't have been the landlord who did it, which only leaves the Nipponese fellow. Honestly, I can't see what all the palaver's about. It's a done deal, isn't it? Suppose it is, since I've nothing witty left to say. If there was some novel alternative explanation about how the victim was stabbed, I might reconsider. Hold it! Chotomate. Yakusukunayo. So, you might be willing to change your decision, you mean? Oh my, such delight on your face, but I'm afraid I shan't be swayed by emotion. Despite what you might think of me, I'm a very modern, metropolitan, and rational woman. That's great. If no one reads the morning papers, then it's all forgotten by tea time, isn't it? So why read them in the first place? You see, modern, metropolitan, and rational thinking, wouldn't you say? And not at all extreme. As I see it, an overwhelmingly suspicious Japanese man had been implicated by overwhelmingly strong testimony. So despite 1 or 2 minor puzzlements, I do declare that the man is overwhelmingly guilty. Modern, metropolitan, and rational logic, wouldn't you say? Hello, dead man. Hello, hello, hello. We're doing our summation examination. Yeah, overwhelmingly. But us modern gals are always delighted to embrace new facts, you know. So I'd only be too happy to reconsider a exciting new theory if you come up with one. I'd be happy to do that too. If only I could. Let's do our very best not to disappoint the modern and metropolitan young lady. Aw, thank you, Devin. I like doing it. It's fun. Right. Glad you admitted rational there. Even if the woman was throwing books, it can't be related to the crime if the window was closed, can
Hold it!
Let's push it. But what about the possibility that the window was open? Aw, Pots. Just saying that.
What about it? I mean, there's just no way it could have been.
How can you be so sure?
The prosecutor fellow up there said it earlier, didn't he? Winters in London are no joke. You don't want to invite that sort of cold indoors. So no, that window wasn't open. Us Londoners like sitting by the fire and staying warm, see?
But you couldn't categorically state that the window wasn't open, could you?
It just wasn't. They wouldn't have opened it.
So then what's the point of even having windows, huh? He's so dumb. Aw, Pots. You're making me blush.
Counsel, you will kindly refrain from childish bickering.
Oh, sorry. Somehow I need to show there's an undeniable possibility that the window was open. Because this young man isn't going to budge otherwise. Dear me, it was only a little poor comedy life threatening even with a direct hit.
Hold it!
But the little book was on fire at the time, was it not? With flames of love, I'll have you know. There really is no such thing as a loving incendiary bomb. Did she just slap the guy next to her? Well, he brought it upon himself. It's playing fire to portray a fiery love. Isn't it? Well, don't you agree? Oh, well, any kind of betrayal is certainly a bad thing, yes. But I think the argument might have arisen out of your misunderstanding, Miss Gyarados. Stop hitting it! Never you mind that. The point is, we were just having a jovial little dispute, nothing more. And I don't have any more of these suggestions that it was anything whatsoever to do with this crime. She does Kirva around her face. Right, well, we'll see about that. What about juror number 5? He doesn't seem to be turning a hair on Miss Gyarados' relentless onslaught. It's almost as though he's used to it. What a gentle soul he is.
Look, I just want to get this over with. If I bring home some pay tonight, I'll be in a tiny bit of trouble.
Hold it!
You just want to get this over with? How can you sit there and say something like that? A man's future is at stake here.
Well, I'm in May both then, just like I said before.
What?
I told you already, I'm a day later, aren't I? If I don't bring home some Reddies...
Reddies? Readies?
Reddies with me tonight, you'll find me floating face down in the Thames River tomorrow.
Is the Thames, it's pronounced Ten. Pretty good accents? I think my accents are mid, but they're fun to do. What?
You heard me. My missus isn't the one to mess about, you know? She can be fierce, you believe me. Believe you me.
Another shining example of marital bliss, then. You guys gotta sort out your marital problems.
A situation like this popped up the other day. It was, well, Do you know, it's funny. Really can't quite remember.
Oh, he got knocked out, right?
It's too far out now, that's the thing. Must have blocked it out.
That's hilarious. Helpful! I wonder if Mr. B will ever be dragged into the Thames by his scar. Don't even go there, Mrs. Sato. There must be some way to jog his memory about this.
Come to think of it, we had a fire a while ago. Gave me the sneezes.
Hold it!
I actually had a voice coach that told me if you're doing an accent, it doesn't have to be good, it just has to be consistent, because somebody in the world will talk like that. honestly pretty good advice, I won't lie. Does this have anything to do with your decision about the defendant's culpability in this case?
Sorry, what was that? You'll have to speak up loud.
Could you tell us more about that fire?
It was last winter. My grandchildren baked me a lovely cake on my birthday. It had 75 candles on the top. It did. What a sight to behold it was.
75 candles, wow! You put candles on a cake? Was it some kind of devil worship? Ah! I guess they don't do that in Japan at this time.
Of course not. It was an angel cake. To celebrate my birthday, obviously.
It seems that it's a common custom here in Great Britain, Mr. Naruhodo.
Anyway, they must have rolled my puff to blow them out. Well, he must have blown wrong somehow. The flames didn't go up, but the candles went flying all over the room.
My grandpa did that one time.
Furniture caught up and everything went up. The whole place filled up with smoke.
Definitely sounds like devil worship to me. And by the sneezes, I presume you mean a cold. But how did you catch a cold from a fire?
What a fiasco it was. The grandchildren blessed and threw water over me as they tried to put out the flames. Then, because the whole room was filled up with smoke, of course. We had to open all the windows to clear it.
Had to open the windows, you say? The windows?
Fighting winter air rushed over me like the devil dancing on my grave it did. Caught a terrible cold from it. Put me in the hospital for a while. Won't forget that birthday in a hurry.
I knew it was devil worship all along. But something about this old man's story is playing into my mind for some reason. I know it must be done! We need to demonstrate who, apart from Mr. Artmity, could have attacked the young woman on the street. As well as how he or she could have done it. Yes, but once again, the jurors' statements are full of personal prejudice. A lot of them seem convinced they're right, even in the face of logical arguments to the contrary. I think you're going to need to pit them against each other to force them to accept an alternative explanation. Yes. I don't necessarily need to find contradictions between their assertions, just a connection that might do the trick. Alright, let's see what I can do. If anything stands out, I'll go in for the strike. That's the spirit. We know it must be done. Alright, we're gonna pit against the old man.
Objection!
Objection! These two juror statements clearly contradict one another.
They do? How exactly, counsel?
Don't point at me again, I told you it wasn't me!
Huh? That's how you say, speak up, lad, speak up!
Juror number 3, do you see?
Oh,
Me? You see what, sir? Did you hear juror number 6's account of his birthday celebrations last year? It seems, despite being a Londoner, he once opened his windows in the middle of winter. Well, yes, of course, because it was an emergency. I mean, obviously, if the room was filled with smoke from a fire, then you'd be mad not to open the... Oh! Exactly. On the day in question, at the time of the incident, there was a fire in the Garadev household. And Mr. Garadev had the following to say about it. The whole place filled with smoke.
Oh my!
Oh my hat! Let's pursue that.
Excuse me.
Juror number 4, you have something to say about that? Mrs. Garadev!
How dare me? What is the meaning of this? How dare you imply I'm hiding who I really am?
It's imperative that you confirm something for the court. So please, it's time to drop the pretense now.
What is it?
When the fire started in your house that day, did you or your husband open the window?
What? I beg your pardon. What are you insinuating?
The room would have been thick with smoke after the carpet in the bookcase caught fire as they did. In a situation like that, it's inconceivable that you wouldn't have opened the window.
And what if we did?
Oh my gosh, the sword getting stuck between the posts as he paces. All right, let's pursue the... I'm stalling. Miss Jerry, oh, give me a sec. I'm stuck. Hold on. Oh god, this is so embarrassing. Oh jeez. Everyone look away for a sec. Alright then, yes. You're right. My husband was frantically trying to open the window. Which can't have been easy since I continued to give him a justly deserved book battering. Even though their house was on fire. Oh, you never stopped throwing until the anger subsides. It would have been terribly bad for the nerves to do otherwise. You should get a stress ball. Of course. I should have realized. That's a significant step forward, Mr. Naruto, though. We've managed to establish that the window was open. We simply must have added to Mrs. Garadev's formal statement. Now that you mention it, yes, the window was open at the time. I clearly forgotten, but it's true.
Hold it!
Let's press this. The fourth book found at scene of the crime shows very obvious signs of fire damage. And the title of the book is The Lion's Pride. The same title, in fact, that the book that Mr. Garadev told us I'd been reading. Well, I really couldn't say. On the day in question, did you or did you not throw at your husband the copy of Lion's Pride he had been reading? I did. It was the first thing I could lay my hands on, so I hurled it straight at him. And now you come to mention it, yes. He was rather enjoying reading it, all right. Why did you not reveal this information to the court from the outset? Because I caught you insolent little man, I didn't remember. At times like that, you pick up and throw whatever you can lay your hands on, as you well know. I really don't. I barely noticed I was throwing a book, much less the title of it. Oh-ho!
Excuse me!
What is it, juror number 5?
You know something? I remember what it was. Remember I blocked out.
Ah.
I was listening to what this granny was saying. Brought it all floating back.
Smack.
Who are you calling a granny, you cheeky devil? I'm Mrs. Garadevil, the maid, I'll have you know.
Man doesn't even flinch. Please tell me that's not because he's so used to being hit all the time.
It was about 2 weeks ago now. I was just going back home from after work, like. Put my hand in my pocket for wages I just earned that day. I nearly died. There was a hole. Every last penny dropped out.
Oh dear, what a disaster.
You haven't had the half of it, boy.
Oh?
Oh, the wife was cutting up some chicken at the time. I could hardly get the words out, but I told her straight. I lost the day's wages, love. Next thing I knew, the blade was whistling past my ear, stuck in the wall next to me. It did, about an inch deep.
No words, just terror.
I could smell it in, you know? That god-awful stench of the Thames. I was sure I was gonna end up face down in the muddy banks that night, I can tell you. That's a real disaster, isn't it?
I'll never use the word lightly again. That's what I think happened.
Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is, a woman lost her rage, she'll throw anything at you, knives, hatchets, hammers, you name it.
Mr. Naruto, you mustn't think that all women are so short-tempered and unrefined. No, I wasn't thinking that! Throwing household objects at people is, well, it's so uncivilized. At least attack with honor, using a bow or the like.
What? Attack? Who are you gonna attack?
Never mind. Anyway, this man's words could be rather significant, I think. Alright, we'll come back to the bow and arrow thing later, if I dare. Yeah?
A woman in a rage will hurl almost anything at you. Kitchen knife really brought it home to me.
You don't think... question is, do I pit Mrs. Garrett up against the juror number 5? Or do I pit juror number 5 against juror number 2? Maybe I'll push this and see if I'm gonna push this. Wife really threw a kitchen knife at you?
That's right. She was chopping meat with it. Had a tiny edge on it, believe me. Still, full memories in it. Started with that smile she threw at me when we were courting. Since then, the list of things she's thrown at me getting grown along with our relationship. There was a cup, then a glass, then a pot, then a kettle, then a chair, then a wardrobe, a cooker, a bathtub.
Your wife must be even beefier than you.
If things came to a head last week when she threw me onto the Thames.
Ah! I think you need to get a divorce!
Still, she's not so bad when she's calmed down. She's a little sweetheart, really.
I don't believe you. I'm so happy for you.
You don't know what I think. I think this whole new idea of ladies first that we're so obsessed with in this country was brought by some clever lads who've been tossed in the Thames a few too many times by their wives.
That's a very interesting theory. Hi, Shade. They're everything but the kitchen sink. Must be the next item. Whoops. What a terrible thought. On the face of it, this juror's statement just sounds like a really extreme anecdote. But I think it might turn out to be an extremely powerful weapon. A weapon I might be able to use to make the jurors accept an alternative explanation here. Aha! Let's pit him against juror number 2. Let's go. Ah. Those two statements clearly have a deeply significant connection.
Good grief, you mean they don't contradict each other? Let's explain counsel at once.
Juror number 2, do you think perhaps that this could have been one such novel alternative? Oh my, whatever do you mean? An alternative explanation as to how the victim was stabbed in the back.
What are you talking about?
We've demonstrated that in the 4th book, the lion's pride was found at the scene of the crime. Originated in Mr. Garrett's room on the top floor of his house. Therefore, it's equally possible that some other object besides the book could have found its way from the Garrett household to the street below.
What's that now?
After all, Mrs. Garrett could have thrown any number of different objects at her husband. Isn't that right, juror number 4?
What are you insinuating now, you little beanpole?
Huh! Or beanpole? He's kind of more in twunk territory than he is twink territory. I wouldn't call him beanpole. Mind you, we don't know what he looks like under the uniform, nor should we speculate. I'm beginning to think that ever since the true origins of this book came to light, perhaps she's had a feeling this might be what happened.
Now listen here, you Eastern Gala. There's a foreman of this jury. I'll demand a straight answer. You give us this yarn about some other object making its way out of the house, but what? What is it?
I'm really taking a big gamble here. It was a bold accusation to make, but I haven't any real evidence to back it up. But I'm certain that at the very least this warrants further investigation. Yeah, I think you're right, Brett. Then I grab the book, and a knife from the heavens that comes knife spins in from the heavens. Because honestly, throwing a knife like that's really easy. You want to grab the tip, you just throw it, and it goes foof, 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 foof. Centrifugal motion, such. All right, Mr. Foreman, I'll try to explain the defense's theory. The other object that was found its way from the Garrett household to the scene of the crime was...
Take that!
Juror number 4, Mrs. Garrett.
What? What now?
I must apologize in advance for this. But I need you to confirm something else for the court. This knife. Have you ever seen this knife before?
Good Lord, Counsel, what on earth are you doing? That's the weapon that was launched into the victim's back, man!
My lord, remember that when the victim was attacked, Mr. and Mrs. Garrett were in the throes of an argument. Mrs. Garrett was hurling anything at her husband, who had been backed up against the window. A window that had been opened to clear smoke, and through which a book sailed to land at the crime scene.
You can't seriously believe that. The book was found in the victim's grasp.
Are you saying that flew out the window and across the street to land neatly in her hand?
Huh! Even my missus ain't got aim like that.
Yes, I admit there are many details we don't understand. But that's the point. That's precisely why. We must not allow this trial to end. Not right now. Oh, my.
Ah!
Mrs. Garrett, your answer, please. Have you seen this knife before or not?
Oh!
Good. I think we have our answer. My lord! I wish to change my decision. I'm a woman of my word, after all. Thank you, madam.
Yes, I agree. Certainly didn't see this coming, but just don't think it will be right for this trial to come to an end now with so many unanswered questions.
Mr. Foreman! Character growth!
I have to agree. I think the granny didn't mind.
Yes, you know what? I'm not quite happy about this moment either.
All together now, ladies and gents.
Yashimabuda! We did it! We solved it! We did it! Oh, congratulations, Mr. Naruto! Too early to celebrate.
So as a result of the dissemination examination, a number of juror leanings have changed. 2 jurors called guilty against 4 now calling innocent. Accordingly, the opinion of this court is divided. And this trial will continue.
He's so mad. Die mad about it.
Now then, Lord Van Zyke, how does the prosecution wish to proceed? With a guilty verdict, what the fuck is this?
Well, he's got another taste test.
This one's a Chardonnay. This trial is rapidly descending into a farce.
Sippy sippy.
Tastes too much like... I don't like that oaky taste. Like a corked wine, the first few sips are bitter enough.
He does not like it, teapots.
What follows is so repugnant, it's good for nothing save the gutter.
I don't think he likes wine. Why do you keep drinking wine if you hate it?
If I might, Lord Van Zyke, the defense has just put forward a credible alternative explanation for what happened. Credible? Is that your considered opinion, Mr. Foreman? The defendant's argument is a joke to which I barely know how to respond. But let me start by insisting that you must all familiarize yourself better with the relative positions of those places being discussed.
What do you mean by that? What's his angle this time?
It should barely be more than apparent that between the crime scene and the Garadev household runs a rather wide street, Briar Road. Which means that the distance from the Garadev's house to the scene is some, 15 yards.
Let me see. 15 yards. That's around 14 meters. 14 meters? Oh, that's farther than I imagined.
And, as you ladies and gentlemen of the jury rightly noted as having portentous significance, the 4th book was found in the victim's clutches. In other words, the smouldering book, wantonly held by the lady in the house, travels some 15 yards to land on the opposite side of the road, neatly between the collapsed victim's fingers and thumb.
She picked it up.
Is that your final conclusion, my learned and deluded friend? Did the jackknife follow a nearly identical trajectory, plunge into the middle of the victim's back? This fantasy somewhat stretching the notion of having a bad day for the victim, I think. Even those pathetic serialized detective stories have more believable plots.
There's nothing I can say to that. That prosecutor loves the sound of his own voice. Mr. Sato, serialized detective stories are pathetic, are they? How dare he? Maybe let's pick our battles here. My lord, may I be allowed to speak?
As judicial assistant, you may speak for the defense. Yes, go ahead.
The prosecution may consider the idea false, but what the defense has postulated was believable enough to persuade the jury to change its leanings. As such, the court has the duty to explore this alternative explanation as thoroughly as possible. To that end, juror number 4, Miss Joan Garrett, must be called to testify and submit a cross-examination.
Saints alive! A cross-examination of a juror?
I just noticed how big his shoes are.
Order! 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 Now, this is highly irregular. It's unprecedented for a member of the jury to be summoned to the witness stand.
Objection!
Objection!
Stop!
And unnecessary.
I think you just killed someone.
Lord Van Zykes! There are already witnesses on the stand whose testimony and defense may further cross-examine. If my learned friend's farcical theory has any truth in it, then both a burning book and a jackknife must have flown through the sky before these couple's eyes. And we must assume that we would be able to testify accordingly. What say you, witnesses? Yes, sir! Constable Early Beat reporting for duty, sir! Well, good morning, officer. So for dozing until now? Sir! I haven't slept for a month on account of the villain who's appeared on my beat, sir.
Oh, they were so heroic, these London bobbies.
Patricia, my darling, I've been neglecting you, but no more.
Oh, Rolly, my hero, you make me swoon. They're so cute.
Oh well, I hereby reject the defense's request.
Oh.
And order the witnesses in the stand to testify again. State forthwith before the court any details pertaining...
Ah! This voice makes me yawny because of all the air.
Say forthwith before the court any details pertaining to the defense's alternative explanation of events. Sir. Yes, sir!
They have cooties, says the man that's also married. Aww! That's so cute. Actually, sometimes I do end up talking with my ghost supervisor's polter spouse, and he's very sweet and very sassy, and he will say his wife has cooties. It's very cute. they're always riffing on each other. Constable Beats report.
This case has nothing to do with Mr. and Mrs. Garrett. Believe me, London Bobby is good for his word. You see, sir, the window on the top floor of the garret has all top-hinged casements.
Obviously, if anything had been thrown out the window, we would have seen it. I did leave the scene to go fetch and help, but my trusty Rolly was there to make sure nothing was disturbed.
I didn't take my eye off the crime scene for a moment, sir. Nothing strange to report from that, sir. This is quite startling. Top hinged casement windows. That tale was not in the police report, Constable. Oh, I guess I'm sorry about that. I must have been a little drowsy. You cannot excuse your sins with drowsiness every time, Constable. No, sir!
Sorry, but... what exactly is a top-hinged casement window?
And you? You cannot excuse your ignorance with such trite remarks, my learned friend.
Ew, they're people. He probably fell asleep. Hello, Gold. Dude, I got here like 3 days ago, not even. Quite sorry. I found it, Mr. Naruhodo. Cast your mind to the windows in Mr. and Mrs. Garadev's room. Alright, I'll try. So the window opens in order to allow air to circulate inside the house. Ah! But as it's a top-hinged casement window, it swings open along the upper edge, you see.
I'm glad you've rectified your ignorance. A casement window's most prominent feature is its stay, a metal bar which prevents the window from being opened beyond a certain amount.
It prevents its opening? This is all news to me.
Absolutely correct, sir. In other words, if a book or knife had been thrown through the open window, it would have clattered against the pane and fallen straight down the pavement below.
No.
You see the problem then? Good. Your education in Windows is complete.
I think they learned from a certain circus case to make their physics a little more believable.
There was never any possibility of either the book or the knife traveling 15 yards over the road. That is, unless the window pane had been shattered. Something we've discounted already.
That can't be! Did you see that, Roland? The young Japanese man is collapsed in agony.
Oh yes, my darling, I saw it. I saw how he crumbled before me.
Oh, Rolly, you're so strong. Okay, they're a little weird. How is this happening? I haven't even started the cross-examination yet, and already my argument's been destroyed.
Counsel, if you could drag yourself upright again, the court awaits your cross-examination.
I'm just gonna straighten out my legs. Hold up. Oh, my lord. Oh, good. Another desperate situation. Cross-examination. Constable Beats report.
The case has nothing to do with Mr. and Mrs. Garadev's. I believe Mayor London Bobby's good for his word.
Hold it!
Your cootie levels are off the charts and you're going into cringe territory. Oh yeah, everyone's weird in Ace Attorney. How can you say that for certain?
Very good question, sir. And the answer is this. It has the noble founding principles of the force written on it as a reminder to all of us policemen of our sworn duties.
He showed us that before, didn't he? Did he? I can't say I remember.
To patrol the streets of London town and uphold the peace of the common man. It's what the job's all about.
Lights out. Got some tangle in my hair. There we go.
And that is what I can see. And that is why I stand here today beside my long and suffering wife and tell you Bobby's word is good for it. If Bobby's good for his word. While rubbing my tired eyes at me. Sir!
Oh, Rolly, you're so manly.
Of course I am, my darling Patricia. Oh, Pat.
Oh, Rolly. No, this is what I meant. I meant, how can you say for certain that this case has nothing to do with Mr. and Mrs. Garadov?
Oh, I see, sir. I should have said so earlier, sir.
Yes, well, so could you answer the question? That was a waste of time, then.
Absolutely, sir. I'll answer it to the fullest of my abilities, sir. There's a surprising reason why Mr. and Mrs. Garadov's domestic dispute can't be related to this case. But before I get to that, sir, just one thing.
Oh, yes?
Very much like you and your countrymen to understand the great British institution of Scotland Yard. So I hope you'll take back some tales of London lobbies as we uphold our great guiding principles. I wasn't planning on going back just yet. I've only just arrived here. So to that end, sir, I'd be happy to lend you my warrant card for your perusal. But I must warn you, I won't be able to get through without shedding a few tears.
Thank you. I'll try. Constable Beat's warrant card has been entered into the court record. Maybe that'll tell us about his jurisdiction. Hold up. Shut up. Because maybe there's a contradiction here. Policeman will strive to preserve the peace within his allotted beat. A patrolling officer is expected to walk 20 miles around his beat every day for furtherance of community regulations. All crimes fall under the jurisdiction of the beat in which they are discovered. When a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigations and help detectives. Time to doodle on it. There's on his beat. Doesn't say anything about what beat he's under. Push this a little bit. By which you mean they don't open fully, is that correct?
Yes, sir. They're just there to allow a bit of air through the house, as you see. So they're restricted to as much as they open. And therefore, anything thrown out the window from the inside the room would simply strike the pane and fall through the street directly below. For clarity, allow me to mark the map. Here is the location where the objects would have fallen. Yes, directly opposite of the crime scene. The scene of the crime on the other side of a rather wide road.
Would it have been so hard for somebody to mention this top-end casement thing before? Well, I have another question for you, Constable.
What would that be, sir?
Do you even know? How do you even know? Why would you have any idea of what sort of windows Mr. and Mrs. Garrett's house is furnished with?
Oh, well, sir, it's very simple. You see, I'll help with the investigations.
Uh-huh.
Excuse me.
Do you have something to add, Miss Beat? Sorry? You look, well, delighted. Is there some particular reason for that? Oh, I was just remembering. That's all. We really were so lucky. Lucky? What do you mean? Well, of course I feel terrible for the poor woman who was attacked. Please don't misunderstand me. But we were just so lucky it didn't happen on Rolly's beat. It was so close, you see. Oh, I hadn't realized. Oh yes, that street Briar Road. That's the boundary between Rolly's beat and the next one. Isn't that right, my love? No. Constable Beat.
Huh? Oh, yes, that's right. That's the reason I was helping out with the interviewing the occupants of the Garrett household yesterday. The house is right on my beat, you see, sir.
That really was cutting it close. You don't think they tampered with the crime scene, do you? To move it onto someone else's beat? Constable, I wonder if you could clarify something for me. If the Garrett household is on your beat, does that mean that the pavement next to it is as well?
Outside Mr. Garrett's house? Yes, ma'am. Pavement on that side of the road is up my beat.
I see, I was unaware of that. Just think. think if the woman had been attacked just on the other side of Briar Road, we would have never been able to go for that meal to celebrate our wedding anniversary. But that's the life of a Bobby after all.
Extraordinary people are Barbies, tirelessly working for the benefit of us Londoners.
You know what I think? I think it was a good Lord's way of rewarding my really prized hard work. They moved the body. Don't you think so, my darling?
That must be it, Pat, my love. That must be it.
I think perhaps we should make sure we have that information officially on the record. Leave it to me, Mr. Naruhodo. I'll take care of it immediately. The case file's information has been updated in the court record. And now it's my turn, I think. Let's check this out. That was a cough. A bit of a dry cough. More water. Obviously, if anything had been thrown out the window, we would have seen it.
Hold it!
But according to my notes here, the sun had gone down already and it was dark. Oh, but really now we're strolling along, gazing at the night sky and looking for our lucky star. Sorry? The star that will guide us to eternal happiness. Oh yes, posture check. Gonna crack my back. Ooh. Ow! Ah! Knuckles. Thumb. Ooh! My thumbs crack more than they used to. Wrist twist, wrist twist. Nom nom nom. Indeed, Grim. Crack crack. Can't it guide you to answer the question?
The flaming rocket caught across the sky in front of us. It would have lit up like a shooting star.
I don't know why that crackling is so satisfying, but it is good. And if I see a shooting star, I would have made a wish upon it. I'd really be an inspector, I would have said 3 times at least.
Of course, what with the smog and everything, couldn't actually see the stars. In short, are you trying to say that neither a book nor the knife caught across the sky before you? Yes, sir, that is correct, sir. As sure as the night sky in London's is starless, sir.
Certainly seems like they're telling the truth. And then we saw the poor woman fall to the ground, so we ran straight over to help her. I did leave the scene to go and fetch help, but my trusty Rolly was there to make sure nothing was disturbed.
Hold it!
Yes, you said you went to a nearby police box to fetch another officer, is that right? That's right, yes. If I had been at Rolly's beat, I would have known exactly where I was going, of course.
Don't feel bad, my love. Can't be expected to know every location of every police box in the beat, and on every beat.
So Rolly told me the way, only he sort of got a little lost on the way.
Patricia, my darling, that's why I love you. A terrible sense of direction is bewitching to me. Oh, Pat!
Oh, Rolly! Oh, please. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. You're looking at the stars? I think you would not have noticed her collapse. So I suppose I was gone for about 15 minutes. But like I said, my Rolly was at the scene the whole time, making sure nothing was disturbed.
I was off duty at the time, of course, but a true Bobby is never really off duty, sir. I didn't take my eye off the crime scene for one moment, sir. Nothing strange to report from that, sir.
Hold it!
Nothing to report?
That's correct, sir. I had my eyes wide open the entire time, never looked away for a second. No one else approached the scene, nothing was removed from it. I can swear that on the yard's honor, sir.
Really? That seems a little strange.
Beg your pardon, sir. Strange, sir. Seems altogether regular to me.
This hard copy of the lion's pride was originally at the Garrett household. So the question remains, how did it find its way to into the hand of the victim? Can you shed any light on that, seeing as you were at the scene of the crime the entire time?
Ah! Could it be a different copy, sir? One that just happened to leave out as well?
Nothing was disturbed, currently dragging body across the road. Even if that were possible, why would the victim have been gripping a book like that in her hand? As we can see from the photographic print, she had a bag over her shoulder. She was picking it up.
Oh, sir, the book was in the lady's hand from the moment we arrived at the scene.
Is that so? There's something about this statement that's not sitting right with me. The two mysteries of how that knife ended up in her back, and how the book ended up in her hand. There must be some common thread between them. Can I ask you something, please, Mr. Lawyer, sir? Oh, yes, of course. What is it? You're doubting us, aren't you? I could tell. What? I wasn't really. I mean, what's she doing? Please, just because I'm a woman, it doesn't make my testimony any less valuable. Ah, she's pulling that. You might just see me as the wife of a policeman, but I'm a woman of my word, I am. I really don't remember suggesting that I doubted you. No excuses, I don't want to hear it. My voice will be heard. My lord, you'll let me speak, won't you?
Yes, Miss Beat, I will allow you to supplement your testimony if you so desire. Sometimes the path of least resistance is the sage one.
That's probably what happened because the window wasn't open. She was under the window, got stabbed, and someone dragged her across the road and staged the scene. I think that might be what happened. That was a very loud mutter. I heard that! That Japanese man thinks a policeman's white word counts for nothing, does he? Well, watch out, sir. I might let you get away with something like that, but my really word. Duly noted, Mrs. Beat. Please, I humbly ask you to continue. What could she possibly be about to say, I wonder? I know what I saw. My eyes never let me down. My sense of direction is a little off sometimes.
Hold it!
Mrs. Beat, nobody is questioning what you told us. I saw it. I did that evening. I saw it clearly. That little Eastern man with the whiskers and the funny curved back slinking away from the scene. And I know what I didn't see as well. I didn't see any flaming books or knives flying through the sky. All very clear. You also mentioned something about having a poor sense of direction? Oh, yes. Well, that's a little embarrassing, really. I always end up at the wrong place when I've made arrangements to meet Roy. He never gets so cross. He gets ever so cross.
Excuse me!
Constable Beat, is there a problem?
No, sir, no problem, sir.
Did your wife's remark just now bring something to mind, perhaps?
Oh, well, in a way, sir, yes, sir. I was just remembering that the same thing happened that evening is all.
You mean Mrs. Beat lost her way? On the night of the incident?
Well, you see, I sent her off to find a police box and then speed over from mine. And she was gone a fair bit longer than what I was expecting. I thought she'd be back inside 10 minutes, but my darling was gone for a good 15.
Oh, Rolly, you're such a tease. But the reason I was gone for so long was because of the bouquet, silly.
Bouquet?
Sorry, what bouquet are you talking about? It was a present for our wedding anniversary. Really so romantic. He saved up for it with farthings and a halfpenny. And halfpennies he found in the gutter while doing his rounds. Yes, how romantic. Forgotten all about it until just now. Had you, my darling.
Oh, yes. That was just between us. I ain't talking about anyone else, darling. After proms.
Really? Oh. What was that all about? Constable Beat looked very obviously troubled during that exchange.
I'm afraid I can't offer any useful insight, Mr. Naruhodo. But I'm quite sure of one thing. We have to ask Mrs. Beat about the bouquet.
Mrs. Beat, this bouquet you mentioned. I'd like you to add details about it to your testimony, please. Oh, really? Then I'd love to. What happened was I dropped my bouquet and ended up losing my way for a while.
Hold it!
You mean you dropped the bouquet at the scene of the crime? Yes, that's right. Oh, I was so upset. And when we ran over and saw a woman with a knife in her back, I was so shocked they dropped the bouquet Rolly gave me. And it was dark in a dark spot where the streetlights weren't casting any light, so I didn't notice it at first. And then you went to the police box to report it to the policeman whose beat it was on? Yes. And I came back to the scene together with the other constable, you see. That's when I spotted my bouquet again. But the funny thing was, after I went to pick it up, it was nowhere near the victim's body at all.
In case you need reminding, Mrs. Beat, the victim is not deceased.
I was all flustered for a moment before I heard a voice calling me from the other side of the road. Your husband, presumably? That's right, telling me I'd gone over the wrong side of the street. Although I'm going to blame the bouquet this time, I can't really think... I can't think of how it got there, I really can't. So the big bouquet suddenly moved from one side of Briar Road to the opposite.
Curious indeed.
Isn't it? But the worst of it is I forgot to pick the bouquet up again when we left the scene. That beautiful rose really gave me with that change from the gutter he spent so long collecting.
By bouquet, do you perhaps mean this sorry solitary rose?
Oh! Oh! Yes! Yes, that's it! That's the bouquet Bob really brought me with our anniversary. The old bits of change he found in the gutter. Maybe just call it a rose.
Tell us, your Lord Van Dykes, where did you come by this flower? According to the report by the police officer in charge of the crime scene investigation, it was found under the edge of the pavement in front of the Garadeb household.
In front of the Garadeb's household? We were right!
Although it wasn't noticed until this morning, as it lay where the street lamps cast no light. It was believed to be of no relevance to the case since it was found on the opposite side of a thoroughfare.
Oh, thank you, sir, thank you! Can I have it back now, please?
No, I think for good measure, this rose should be added to the court record as evidence.
Oh. The anniversary bouquet has been entered into the court record. But it's a symbol of our love. I want it back after the trial. Do you hear me? I want it back.
Good grief! Rest assured that I shall do my very best not to forget, Mrs. Boots.
All right. Let's look at this. Anything to note? An English rose. It's such a beautiful flower. Ah, this is a rose, is it? Never seen one before. Do you not take interest in flowers, Mr. Naruhodo? I wouldn't say that exactly, but I do know 3 types at least. Gosh, 3? Yes, plum blossom, peach blossom, and cherry blossom. Perhaps you should consider branching out, learning some trees in the art fruit tree-based example. For example. It's a very stylish paper the flowers wrapped in, isn't it? It's just an old newspaper, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, I suppose it's because we're not used to seeing English print. Looks so exotic to me. I see. Is something wrong? Oh, no. I was just thinking that what if you wrapped up stone-baked sweet potato in English newspaper? It might look like some sort of fancy cake. Ah, Sasato-san, you love your cakes. As she's just like me, for real. I saw that. Alright.
Hold it!
Let's push this. Nothing to report?
That's correct, sir. Had my eyes on wide open the entire time. Never looked away for a second. No one else approached the scene and nothing was removed from it. I swear that on my yard honor, sir.
Really? That seems a little strange.
Beg your pardon, sir. Strange, sir. Seems altogether regular to me.
Burnt copy of the Lion's Pride. Oh, I think we did this one. Got it find its way. Yeah, we did ask him this. Yeah, we did ask him this. Yeah. It has to be part bobblehead to survive all that, right? Like wah 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 wah. Oh man, I got dizzy doing that. I shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have did that. What do you make of all this? Yes. The whole idea of an invisible attacker is just troubling me all along. But I believe I'm starting to get the picture of what really happened here now. The fourth book that had no business being at the scene of the crime made me sure that Mrs. Garrett was hiding something from us. That's becoming increasingly clear that someone else has been hiding something from us as well. I think I may have already armed with everything I need to strike a decisive blow here. This time, it's going to expose the whole truth about this whole mysterious affair. Let's see. I'm just gonna check to see. So our evidence is the border which runs down the middle of Briar Road, the warrant card, the anniversary bouquet. Let's just check this rose. Present from Patricia Beat to from Patricia Beat from her husband Roy. The shock of seeing the stab victim caused Miss Beat to drop the rose where she stood. This one's a tricky one. Nothing to do with Mr. and Mrs. Garrett. It's good for it. In terms of the top floor, or top hinged. Maybe in the front window we would have seen it. Switch to your PC! I'm gonna quickly... did I press
Hold
her?
it!
I'm gonna press her a little bit. You mean you dropped the bouquet at the scene of the crime? Yes, that's right. Oh, I was so upset. When we ran over and saw it was a woman with a knife in her back. I was so shocked I dropped the bouquet Rolly gave me. It was in a dark spot with a street lamp. It wasn't casting any light, so I didn't notice at first. And then you went to the police box to report it to the policeman whose beat it was on? Yes, and I came back to the scene together with the other constable, you see. That's when I spotted about my bouquet again. Although the funny thing was, when I went to pick it up, it was nowhere near the victim's body at all.
In case you need reminding, Mrs. B, the victim is not deceased.
I was all flustered for a moment before I heard a voice calling to me from the other side of the road. Your husband, presumably. That's right, silly me. I'd gone over to the wrong side of the street. So I'm going to blame the bouquet for this one. Now, I can't think of how it got there. I really can't. Should I try presenting the flower?
Objection!
You claim, Constable Beat, there was nothing to report in the 15 or so minutes that you were guarding the scene. But that cannot be. What do you mean to say? In your testimony just now, Mrs. Beat, you explained to the court that when you arrived back at the scene of the crime with the policeman assigned to the beat, the bouquet you had dropped to the victim's side was no longer anywhere nearby.
Objection!
Yes, on the opposite side of Briar Road where the victim was attacked. But considering the size of that meager bouquet, a single sorry bloom can be so described. No doubt it was blown by the wind across the street back to the gutter where it belongs.
It's beautiful! Don't be a butthead. Meager.
Objection!
But if that were the case, why did Constable Beat not testify to the fact? No one else approached the scene and nothing was removed from it. Constable Beat swore that on the Scotland Yard's honor. But the bouquet belonged to me. It has nothing to do with the case. That's why I really didn't mention it, I'm sure. No, because sadly, it's not only your bouquet we're talking about here. More than one thing in this case is mysteriously the wrong way around.
What are you talking about?
Think about it. Besides Mrs. Beat's bouquet, there's Mr. Garrett's book. Haha! Mr. Garrett's copy of The Lion's Pride, which was thrown out the window by his wife, would have struck the pane of the casement window and landed here on the west side of the street. And yet, it was actually found here on the opposite side of the road, in the victim's hand. Meanwhile, according to the testimony we've heard, Mrs. Beat's bouquet should have been dropped here at the scene of the crime on the east side of the street. But in fact, it was actually found here on the opposite side of the road, in front of Mr. and Mrs. Garrett's house. There's no logical explanation for those things. Unless somebody deliberately moved them. What are you trying to say? The way you're talking, it sounds like you think my Rolly's done something wrong.
Have you listened to a word that scrawny lawyer says? What's going on about books and bouquets? Why should we care? It's nitpicking, that's what it is.
Oh, good, Mrs. Garrett has come around. You might call it nitpicking, Mrs. Garrett, but deliberately meddling with the scene of the crime is a criminal offense. It's called, tampering, Mr. Naruhodo. But the person responsible for this tampering cannot admit to it, for a very subtle but compelling reason.
Objection!
Tampering. You've barely heard the term before. Tell us, my learned friend, who would possibly have had a cause to carry out such an elaborate deception?
Yes, there is someone who tampered with the scene of the crime that evening. All the evidence and all the testimony points to that one particular person.
Counsel, I must demand that you substantiate this conjecture. Who are you saying was responsible for the tampering of the scene of the crime?
Take that!
Obviously, there's only one person who could have been.
Constable Rolly Beat, it was you! What? A policeman? Member of Scotland Yard?
What nonsense! Why would my Rolly do something like that? There's no one straighter than my husband. No Bobby works more tirelessly for the people of London. Mrs. Beat, you said in your testimony that your husband asked you to go near a police box, to a nearby police box to fetch the officer on duty. In the 15 minutes that you were absent from the scene is the only opportunity anyone had to tamper with you. You're making it up. Don't nonsense. Don't lies. What about that Japanese man with the whiskers? I bet it was him. He did.
Objection!
Water break. If that was true, Constable Beat would have seen him do it. Nah, not my vibes. Oh. And forgive me for pointing it out, but when you dropped your bouquet, Mrs. Beat, it was after the defendant had fled the scene. Well.
Objection!
First you make accusations about the landlord and his wife. Now you incriminate a policeman as well. But your accusations lack one very important thing. You claim the crime scene was tampered with. But there's only one reason anyone would commit such a reckless crime, to hide something.
That's right, he's right. But my husband and I just happen to be there. That's all. So why would we have anything to hide? It doesn't make sense. No, it wasn't. You're right, you can't fool me. Can't get anything past me.
You've offered no motive for this alleged tampering. And until you do, your accusations are nothing but empty threats.
Constable Beat has a very good reason for wanting to tamper with the scene of the crime. That's the key to this entire affair.
Mr. Naruhodo,
have you managed to solve this mystery?
Counsel, you made a very serious accusation against a London police officer. If you are mistaken, I'm sure I need not point out that your reputation as a lawyer may be irrevocably damaged. With that stark warning in mind, you will now explain to the court the motive for this alleged tampering.
Yes, my lord. Constable Beat's motive for tampering with the crime scene was to hide where the victim fell. Where the victim fell to the ground. I didn't scum save this time. That is what this body had to cover up at all costs.
What?
Where the victim fell? You mean where she was attacked? What are you talking about? We told you that from the very start, didn't we? It was on the pavement of Briar Road. We saw it happen, remember? It was right here, as if anyone didn't already know. That's certainly what everybody had been led to believe. But in fact, that isn't where the victim was stabbed at all. What? What?
I'm beginning to wonder where this tumultuous trial will end, Counsel. If that's your assertion, then the court is dying to know my Nipponi's friend. Where are you proposing that the crime actually took place that evening?
Take that!
But that's on the opposite side of the room.
I don't understand. On the evening in question, Mr. Garrett's book fell directly down from the open window above. And your bouquet, Mrs. Beat, never moved at all. Man, this ace attorney guy sure can solve a case, Romeo! And what did move was the scene of the crime itself!
Good gracious!
Objection!
Everyone say hi to Romeo.
Perhaps you haven't been listening to the ample testimony the court has heard. But these witnesses both saw the moment the attack took place.
That's right, I saw it with my own eyes. It was 5 o'clock in the evening and already dark. There was a typical London fog on the ground, like the tea. When you saw the incident unfold and ran to the victim's aid, was that actually on the west side of? That was actually on the west side of Briar Road. No, that's not true. It can't have been. Constable Beat then arranged for you to be absent for a while by sending you for help. And during the 15 minutes you were away, he transplanted the crime scene. He moved all the things shown in this print, the victim herself and the 4 books. He moved everything, in fact, the pavement on the east side of Briar Road.
Extraordinary!
But the constable overlooked one thing. What? What did he overlook?
The bouquet, I presume.
Exactly. Prosecution told the court just a few minutes ago about the discovery of the rose bouquet. Lord Van Dyke said it wasn't noticed until the morning, where it lay where the street lamps cast no light.
Yes, it couldn't have been in the dark, obviously.
which is why it was only the bouquet that was found in its original position on the pavement on the west side of the Briar Road. And that is the defense's theory about what really happened that evening. How do you respond, Constable Rolly Beat?
Well, I'm very sorry. I didn't mean to nod off again, but I haven't slept properly in a month. Did I miss anything important?
Oh, Rolly. It isn't true, is it? What that lawyer said is all lies, isn't it? I know it is because you're the most upstanding, righteous man I know.
I had a dream. Terrible dream. All the things I did that night. Everything come out. Everything exposed.
Huh?
Only it seems it wasn't a dream at all. Good golly! Order! What on earth is the meaning of all this?
Oh, really, why? Why would you do something like this? Moving a corpse is a criminal offense, isn't it? Wishing the victim dead should be one, too.
Constable, explain yourself. Why would you do this? As a respected member of Scotland Yard, your duty is to protect the good people of London Town. I can't say, sir. What? I really am ever so sorry about all this. For damaging the Yard's reputation. For everything.
I have a possible explanation. For why, on that particular evening, Constable Beat felt compelled to move the scene of the crime. I can think of one reason.
What? How could you possibly know? I thought you were a foreigner, presuming to understand the mind of a Scotland Yard policeman. And yet, Lord Van Zykes, it is the foreigner who has uncovered the startling truth of the matter thus far. I believe it would be beneficial for the court to hear this extraordinary young lawyer's theory. Counsel for the defense, if you please.
Yes, my lord.
Now then, I think you had better show us some evidence.
And once, my lord. England, Japan, it makes no difference where you come from. Human emotions are all the same. And I think I have a fairly good idea of the feelings behind this man's actions. Saves coming. Look away! Look away! I'm gonna go off on a limb and say that.
Take that!
Take that!
Because that holds the information that says if it's on that beat, you must not retreat. I realize that I'm a foreigner in this land, and I've only just arrived from Japan. You saw nothing, Teapots. You saw nothing. Which is why all this information about London's so-called bobbies is completely new to me. I've learned that, though honorable, patrolling the beat is the most demanding work in the world, for example.
Keeping the peace, looking after the citizens on his beat in all kinds of ways. There's no doubt that the young Bobby is charged with a great deal to do each day, certainly.
But for Constable Beat, the day in question was special.
Special? How?
On account of this bouquet, my lord. Oh yes! That was our very first wedding anniversary. Constable Beat had worked so hard to be able to afford this simple gift for his wife. And he was so looking forward to taking her out for a celebratory meal.
When he and Mrs. Beat stumbled upon a crime along Briar Road.
and when he saw a shadowy figure through the fog collapse on the pavement ahead of them. What must have gone through the man's mind?
But sir, just on that particular day, I was looking forward to celebrating my wedding anniversary. Mrs. B put up with the whole of the lot being married to a Bobby like me. I wanted to show my dear wife how much I care.
So the thighs new heinous act of Save's coming? The punishment is showing them to chat! Oh! Fine. Shikataganai. I will accept my punishment. Fines! That's all you get! There, I've served my sentence. But this is the warrant card that Constable Beat offered to lend me earlier. Inside, along the rules for patrolling policemen, it says, when a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with the initial investigations and help detectives.
Ah!
Constable Beat. Is that or is that not the reason why you moved the whole scene of the crime that day? Haha! When will you have a thigh redeem like Reika? I'll consider it.
Yes. Everything you said, it's all right. It's all right. So that's it. It was all to do with the boundary of your beat.
Oh! Exactly. To summarize, the incident actually occurred on Constable Beat's beat.
Good gracious!
On the key redeem, I have nothing of the sort!
Do you realize the gravity of what you've done?
Also, what's your question?
It was the first time since I became a copper that I'd ever been cursed. That I'd ever cursed God. Stay close to me, Pat. The criminal could be lurking somewhere. As we ran over to the scene, I had every intention of doing my duty as a police officer. Got to report this to the station as quickly as possible. But then it dawned on me. I realized where we were, where the victim was lying, and what it meant for me.
Why are YOKAST streaming on YouTube recently? I don't know. I chose YouTube because I kind of been neglecting YouTube a little bit, and most of my series right now are on YouTube. That's why I'm putting Jet Set Radio on Twitch. I don't know, though. You'd have to ask everyone else. Casey can't figure out Twitch, so he's just like, maybe I won't worry about it.
When a crime is discovered on his beat, a police officer must assist with initial investigations and help detectives. Why here? Why did it have to happen here? And what a night of all nights! Why? It's a copper's job to guard the scene of the crime, so...
I think YouTube is a little easier for archiving purposes. I do like how Twitch is more interactive, but I have heard there are ways to make YouTube more interactive, so I'll have to look into that.
I told Pat Chef to go to the nearest police box and fetch whoever was on duty there. He was there, and I opened my mouth to speak. It just came out. I couldn't believe the words that would come out of my own mouth. This is the beat next to mine, Pat. So you have to go to the police box that covers it. Run right along Meerschaum Street and then...
Wow. Wow. sorry. Oh, Constable.
I just wanted... just that one night. Take my Patricia out for dinner.
Oh, really?
Just that one night. You knew that if the incident was on your beat, your evening of celebration would be ruined. And so you decided to move the entire crime scene outside your jurisdiction. Just across the street to the east pavement of Briar Road, which falls into the neighbor's beat care. You see, I thought... Well, I was sure the victim was dead, you see. I beg your pardon.
Oh, of course he did. Otherwise, my Rolly would have never left the poor woman on the freezing cold pavement.
Ah, I see your meaning now. God got me back for my sins, didn't he? That's why I missed the rose I bought for Pat.
Oh no, Rolly, it was all my fault. I should have never dropped it in such a dark place. I'm so sorry, Rolly. Oh. And can you tell us, Constable, how many books did you move from one side of the road into the other in total?
Huh? Oh, thought was, yes, definitely 4.
3 of them were dropped by Miss Fanatime, and the 4th being the one that fell from the window upstairs in the Garrett household, of course. But what made you place that book in the victim's hand? All the others were scattered haphazardly around, I mean.
Oh, well, sir, that's because that's how I found it. How you found it? What do you mean? When we first ran over to the scene, the victim was already holding the book. So, when I moved everything, I made sure it was still in her hand.
You're sure this book, The Lion's Pride, it was this book, The Lion's Pride, the victim was holding?
Oh, yes, sir. No doubt about it, sir.
Interesting. The 4th book's information has been updated in the court record.
I thought it was an open and shut case at the time, you say. There were only really 2 people at the scene, and Pat and me both saw it happen. Although, which way you looked at it, had to be the fellow who ran off who'd done it. Thought. I couldn't see the arm, really. I didn't think moving it all over the road would make a jot of difference. I suppose this is it for me now. I've had it.
Samantha's now a criminal. Is he hotter now or just sad, madam? This is probably a plus for her.
My lord. Yes, Lord Van Zykes. I believe that concludes the cross-examination of the witnesses. Constable, you may withdraw. Yes, sir!
Oh, prosecutor, sir. What will become of my Rolly? What will happen to him?
For now, you're free to go home. The police will contact you in due course.
Please, don't punish my husband. This was all my fault. It's because I'm always moaning at him for coming home late.
Leave it now, Pat. Let's go home. I'm tired.
All right then, my love.
One last thing, Constable. Sir? Let this be a lesson to you. In a criminal investigation, every detail matters, however insignificant it may seem to you. Yes, sir. Carve that lesson into your mind. And never again make the mistake of tampering with the scene of a crime. Never again, sir. You mean to say? Leave, now. This trial is not yet over. Sir!
he intends to have them go easy on him.
Quite a startling revelation, I must say.
I feel really bad. I feel like they need to be easier on how they schedule out their bullies. That being said, that's a big crime.
Whoever thought of a third party transplanting the entire scene of the crime like that? Indeed, my lord. Nevertheless, there are some immutable facts here. Principally, that the accused, Mrs. Saseki Natsume, is the only person who could have possibly committed this crime.
Objection!
Nope. Nope, I disagree. Now that we know the true scene of the incident, there is someone else. The other person who could have been responsible for the crime, for the knife in the victim's back. Forgive me for being presumptuous, but I believe the prosecution is probably aware well of the possibility already. Yeah, I'm a little mad these get just a slap on the wrist, because that's a really big deal. Like, that could put somebody in jail that they doesn't deserve to. That's a big deal. I'd still, I think he should have gotten a more bigger punishment, but also, Scotland Yard, bro, work on your scheduling, bro.
Lord Van Dyke, this is true. Very well. Name the person, if you will, and if further investigation is warranted. Then the prosecution has no objection to the trial continuing. You will name this other person who could have perpetrated the crime.
Take that!
The defense would once again like to request the cross-examination of a new witness, my lord.
Once again?
My assistant made the request earlier. In order to finally reveal the truth about this case, it's imperative that we cross-examine juror number 4, Mrs. Joan Garrida. Me? How dare me?
Objection!
That request was already been denied.
Objection!
You say you didn't object, but the situation is very different now. Mrs. Garrida, answer me this. What do you want now, you little toad? At the time of the incident, you were engaged in a violent argument with your husband, Mr. John Garrida. In the course of the argument, a minor house fire was ignited, and to clear the smoke from the room, your husband opened the window that looks over Briar Road. Well, what of it? You threw this book at your husband when he was cornered in the back with his back against the window. Upon striking the pane of the top hinged casement window, the book plummeted directly down, finding its way to what we now know to be the true scene of the incident. Yes, and as I said, what of it? During the argument, you were beside yourself with rage. As such, you threw not just books, but anything you could lay your hands on. So, let me ask you one more time, Mrs. Garrida. This knife, the one removed from the victim's back, have you really never laid eyes on it before?
I don't recall it.
Seriously?
Am I supposed to remember everything I picked up through my husband? And anyway, the man over there, in all that regalious, the members of the jury even testified, didn't he?
Conveniently, yes.
Objection!
No, I have no recollection of saying it at all, juror number 4. Oh! Make no mistake. Your jurors are not special in any way. You are not immune to the judicial process. If you know something about this knife, madam, then let the truth come out. But that's a common or gone knife. It could have come from anywhere. We have several like that at home. If one went missing, how would you expect me to know? Like that? Are you joking? What are you saying, please, Mrs. Garrida?
Now you listen to me.
I refuse to believe all this nonsense. I couldn't bear the thought of that I'd injured someone. Do you hear? I couldn't bear it.
Oh, the poor woman.
So, yes, I want evidence. I want to see hard evidence if you're going to insist this being my fault. You're going to have to prove to me that I threw the knife if that's what you think. Come along now, chop chop. Do your worst.
I gotta take more water. Oh, well. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, if I had evidence like that, believe me, I would have thrown it at her already.
Then take the stand, Joe.
Oh!
The prosecution does not object to the defense's request to cross-examine this woman.
Thank you, Lord Van Zykes.
I'm going to have to testify. Juror number 4. As I'm sure you will appreciate, having observed it with your own eyes today. Witness testimony can lead to the most extraordinary truths being unearthed. Truths of which the witnesses themselves may not even been aware. Oh, dearie me. So I demand your full and unadulterated testimony, Mrs. Gowdeb. Please excuse me, this wig is very tight on my head. And mark my words, in this court of law today, we shall extract the truth. Do you concur, counsellors? Certainly, my lord.
Oh. That's what I'm hoping for, my lord. I think Van Zykes is finally recognizing that we're actually pretty goddamn smart. This is such a strange feeling. For the first time since arriving in this country, it actually feels real. Oh. I'm here. I'm in the Old Bailey, and I'm a lawyer.
Witness, state your name and occupation. Oh, yes, my name is Joan Garadeb. And I'm, well, I'm a juror and such like.
It sounds like that even she doesn't know she's a housewife or a maid or what anymore. What do you mean, why the teapot? We have watched the prosecution throw 2 wine bottles into the gallery now. That's what you ask?
Do you understand, madam? Yes, my lord. You will tell the court everything that took place in your household on the evening in question.
I may have missed a line. Oh well, too late.
And I warn you, do not attempt to hide the truth. Oh, dearie me.
Shut up, Joni. There's nothing to worry about now.
Oh! Oh, I didn't know you were here, John.
Her husband's here!
I wasn't only in the room that day old thing, was it? Rather think I ought to testify as well, don't you? But what about your knee, dear? Don't you worry about that. Hardly notice it. I'm not the sort of chap to leave a comma to face disciplinary action alone.
Aww. He came to support her!
Oh, John! I presume you're John Garadeb? Yes, sir, former second lieutenant of the 3rd Regiment of the 4th Northumberland Fusiliers, sir. My fair share of action and now living a quiet life, as it were. A quiet life? Were you not engaged in incendiary battle with your spouse on the day in question? Ah, well, yes, right. I believe this may represent a first in the proud history of the British court. Calling a juror to the witness stand is unprecedented. However, the court will hear your testimony now, juror number 4, and that of your husband. You will recount clearly and concisely, the events at your home at the time of the incident in question. Sir, at once.
They sound very similar. Give them very similar voices. If not just the same. It might just be the same voice. The Battle of Garadeb.
Yes, on the day you're referring to. The wife and I did have a bit of a skirmish. Can't recall the reason now. Knocked a candlestick over and set fire to the carpet. Soon had it out though and got the window open. Meanwhile, I was picking up whatever I could find to throw at him. Plenty of knives around our place. Can't say I'd noticed if one or two went missing, I'm afraid. That gory thing in the victim's back really was one of ours. You'll have a job proving it, I think.
Thank you for the slack. We'll use the evidence knife to cut some.
Sounds as though it was quite the battlefield in your household that evening. Although the entirely one-sided assault, it seems. Yeah, they caught us on the hop, sir. Had no choice but to dig in and face defensive measures. To be honest, if the enemy had kept shelling us for another minute, we'd have been toast.
I should make some toast after this.
Of course, veterans such as myself is only too aware of that on the battlefield, you're just a gnat's whisker from death at any moment.
Are we still talking about a marital quarrel here?
Well, I must say I'm dubious that this testimony will shed any light on the origins of this jackknife. In combat, one's focus now is such that the surroundings are barely noticed. These witnesses may not have been able to offer anything more than they have testified already. This may be a dead end.
Van Dyke's may well be right. Well, whatever the chances, we only have this last cross-examination to uncover the truth, Mr. Naruhodo. I think I'm gonna go until we're done this case. That's the plan. Because it looks like we're almost wrapped up.
Very well, counsel. Begin your cross-examination.
Let's go. The Battle of Gyarados.
Yes, on the day of going to my wife and I did have a bit of a skirmish. Can't recall the reason.
Hold it!
You know the reason. The reason is what you told us yesterday, I believe. Yes, that's right. If I remember correctly, it all started because of a note that was tucked into the pages of a book belonging to Mr. Gyarados. A rather passionate note, in fact. But Mrs. Gyarados found the note, discovered her husband's little secret. And she gave him a mighty number of slaps across the face for it, too.
What a sort of state of affairs. Hell on earth. I say, when a chap says he doesn't recall such things, it's common decently not to drag it all up.
Just as long as I didn't go to 3 a.m. like my last two streams. Oh, no. Nah, you guys know me. I don't go too long.
And besides, I bet was wide on the mark anyway. A likely story.
These waters run very deep. Hi, Techless! I think we're in the final testimony of this case. We're about to wrap this stuff up.
And what transpired next after these multiple blows to the face? Knocked the candlestick over and set fire to the carpet. I'd soon had it out, though. Put the window open.
Hold it!
And the fire also spread to some furniture, didn't it?
Bookcase, my armchair, anything of mine, really. Just so happened there was some bathwater around at the evening, so I sloshed it about and put it out. A most precarious situation you've put yourself in. Ours is a 3-story townhouse on the west side of the street, where the water main isn't connected yet. Have to draw the water from the public pump with a water pump during the day if you need any, you see.
The lodge is always moaning that they can't get any water at night. Although that mustached Japanese man buys water in bottles, I believe. The friend of Mr. Knott's, maybe? Yes, he receives a stipend for his studies, you know, from his home country. Can you imagine being able to brew a pot of tea at all hours? He's obviously very well off. Have you actually seen the state of this man? Oh, posture check. Thank you. I'm gonna crack my back. Oh! Oh, it feels like it needs to, but it won't. Fingies. Thumb. Thumb again! Wow. Another thumb. Trick check. I believe he used all his income to buy books.
Anyway, the point is, I was able to douse the fire with water, fortunately enough.
Meanwhile, I was picking up whatever I could find to throw at
Hold
him.
it!
Even though the room was on fire. As far as I was concerned at the time.
It was more important to extinguish my anger than the flames. When a woman wants to throw, she must throw.
This is most certainly not not true of a societal takedown, Mr. Naruhodo.
How did she know I was thinking that?
So please cast your mind back and try and remember. Was a knife among the items that you threw at your husband that day? You're doing rice from the ashes! Oh, the Big Bag's so good in that. I won't spoil it for nobody, but let's just say... Whoo! Probably my favorite Ace Attorney antagonist thus far. Rise from the Ashes is contentious for good reason, but I love it!
Honestly, in all honesty, I don't recall. But I feel I must point out that I'm no monster. Let me see. Some bread, cabbage, garlic, a towel, and a sponge, and a napkin.
Jupiter. Excuse me. By Jupiter.
You have something to add, sir? Mr. Gyaradev.
No, don't shoot! Sorry, I beg your pardon.
What, your wife's remark just now brings something to mind.
Nothing of any significance, no.
Oh yeah, no, the blue badge part, that's the contentious part. It's not that bad if you know what to do, but if you don't, it's still pretty bad if you don't know what to do. If you do know what to do, but don't think about it.
Nothing of any significance, no. Just that a barrage of projectiles the old thing launched in my direction. Somewhat more solid than she implies. Books, bricks, and fire poker, I seem to recall.
Ouch.
And the woman's aim is uncanny. She launched... Good grief, Joan! We're not at home now! This is the court of law! Oh, dearie me! I'm so sorry, dear.
What is she even doing with a teapot in here?
Honestly, John, I would have never thrown such a thing at you, obviously. I'll take a look at this then. When do you suppose that happened, Your pipe, sir. Had this thing in my hand as usual at the time of the onslaught. Got the clean out with one of her soft projectiles, she did, yes. And when I went to pick it up, it was broken in two. I can see a sponge do that sort of damage.
Yeah, same hat, same hat! Why is the teapot there? I don't know. See, your pipe was broken.
Would have never been sent flying unless it was hit by something pretty solid. Anyway, I've managed to bandage the thing up for now. You are one to exaggerate, aren't you, dear?
I wonder what we should make of this account. Could be important. The defense believes Mr. Gyardev's remarks just now to be of great significance.
Objection!
This war veteran's words only tell us one thing. Betray a fiery wife, and pipes, as well as hearts, may be broken. Sentimental wisdom, perhaps, but hardly worthy of adding to the formal testimony. Indeed, common sense, one might say.
Might one... In that case, would you at least permit us to examine the pipe, sir?
Well, I don't see why not. Oh, dearie me, there you go again, trying to ingratiate yourself with a young lady. Very well. The court will accept the gentleman's pipe as evidence.
Pipe has been entered into the court record. Oh, we didn't speak out of turn, Mr. Naruhodo. Okay, I'm gonna examine. I'm gonna take a quick moment, real quick, everybody. Really quick. Extremely quick. I'm gonna grab quick. Quick as a bunny. Quick. Quick. For those of you who really want to see Romeo play Half-Life 2, which I really think you should not miss, I'm popping this in the chat. If you want to go watch, and like, please do it. Go watch Romeo. He's so fun. I'm not gonna be offended. You can always catch the vibe. Go have fun. All right. Whoa. I think we found the edge of our knife, guys. Oh, something just twinkled inside the chamber of the pipe here. Yes, I saw it. Something's stuck in there, I think. Let's turn it over and give it a shake. What's this? It's a tiny break in the middle. Looks like the tip of a blade or something. Oh, that's just mean, Gold. Come on. Tip of a blade? Surely it couldn't be. This small piece of metal looks like it might be the tip of a knife blade. I wonder! I wonder! I wonder! I wonder! Aw, teapots. It looks like the tip of a blade or something. The tip of a blade? Is something wrong with Naruhodo? I don't really know. It's just something niggling at me. I can't quite put my finger on what it is. Perhaps in that case, it would be wise to examine some other piece of evidence again. Let's look at the knife! I know. I know you just chilled on the soup. Oh god, the transformation is beginning. I'm turning into a goat. That was the dumbest joke. If you guys left, if you unsubscribed because of that, I understand. I understand. Oh, look here, Mr. Naruhodo, just at the tip. Small piece of the blade appears to be missing. Wait, part of it's missing. I could be wrong, but I just got a feeling. You remember this? That's the tiny fragment of metal we found inside Mr. Garrett's pipe. Yes, just maybe. Oh my! It's a perfect fit! Somehow, I just knew it. Haha! I was just feeling rather disappointed for you that your request was turned down. Oh no, it's fine. Thanks to Sasato-san, we have some new evidence to work with. Really? Well, I'm glad somebody got something out of it. If even just one person laughs, then I've done my job. Well,
thank you for that rebuttal, Mr. Kavanagh. Now we can return to the crux of the matter. What can you tell the court about the knife used to attack the victim? Plenty of knives around the place. Perhaps I noticed if one or two went missing, I'm afraid.
Hold it!
I'm gonna press him. Sorry? Would you care to elaborate?
Nothing to say, really. Well, partial for a spot of carbon, you see, pipes and whatnot, fishing tackle, you know, that sort of thing.
Make a taco! Do it!
It's a passion we both share, like carve little wooden trinkets too. And then there's my leatherwork. So what to say, we're always losing knives about the place. We've done we have dozens of the things. I sell them at the market sometimes, maybe for the price of 19. Needless to say, I'd snap them up. John prefers to use 2 knives a meal, at times. 2, instead of a knife and a fork. Oh no, Joan, we don't want people thinking I'm some kind of savage.
Here we go again with the scaldings. Why are people being so evasive? I imagine it's because they don't want to believe it. They can't bear the thought that it might have been one of their knives that injured the victim. Which is entirely understandable, of course, but still.
Go on with your testimony, witnesses. Sir, that poorly thing that's in the victim's back is really one of ours. You'll have a job proving it, I think.
Let's present the knife.
Objection!
There's clearly something odd about that statement by the witness. No! Okay, we'll just press him. We'll just press him.
Hold it!
Okay, let's push it. So you have no intention of admitting it was your knife, unless we can produce proof? Even though there is no other credible possibility of Mr. Natsume's innocence.
Objection!
You forget my Nipponi's friend. that it is yet to be established that the accused is not responsible for the attack.
As if I could forget. If only there was a way to know who handled the knife. But I suppose wizardry like that is just a dream. Perhaps you're thinking of fingerprinting, Mr. Naruhodo. What? You mean it's not a dream? What? That sort of wizardry really exists? Whenever people touch anything, they leave behind a unique pattern from their skin. Or so they say. But I can't see anything.
There are already countries in the world where these so-called fingerprints can be used as evidence. Lord Strongheart is currently discussing the matter with the Ministry of Justice. Yes, I believe we are rapidly approaching the era of significant scientific methods of investigation.
But for now, we shall have to find an alternative method of proving our assertion. That this knife, found at the victim's back, was originally Mr. and Mrs. Garrett's house. Ugh. Only I could transplant this whole incident to several years in the future. That's the extent of their testimony, is it? What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, I think we've heard all of this before, to be honest. I can't say I'm particularly confident this will be able to prove anything new from this testimony. But in this cross-examination, it's absolutely essential that we establish how this knife came to be at the scene of the incident. Yes, I know. I'm sure both of them must be feeling very worried. Worried that it was in fact the knife belonging to one of them that caused the victim's injury. If we could find even a tiny shred of evidence to support that theory, it would clinch this trial for us. It would explain everything. Yes, it would. So for Seki-san's sake, we must find that crucial piece of evidence. Maybe I have to present the... I'm gonna present the actual shard. Let's do it.
Objection!
It was right! Mr. Garrett, could I ask you to take a good look at this, please?
You can ask, but I can't see a bully thing.
You can't?
You used to call me Dead-Eyed Deb back in the regiment, of course. That was some time ago. Even when I'm trying to enjoy a large print book by the fire these days. I struggle to tell a B from a D and a P from a Q, to be honest. Oh, he does, seriously. It's rather wearing being asked about every other letter in every other word.
You must be very dizzy.
What is that? A tiny scrap of metal?
Yes, almost certainly from the tip of the blade. A blade. And what appears to be at first just a tiny scrap is in fact a crucial piece of evidence.
Interesting. And where did the defense come by this evidence?
It was lodged in the chamber of Mr. Garrett's pipe.
My pipe, you say? By Jove, I was wondering what, how that got in there. And what precisely does this fragment of metal signify, Counsel? Are you suggesting that it is in some way related to the matter of the stabbing on Briar Road?
Wah. I am.
What?
When put together with another piece of evidence already in the court record, I believe this tiny fragment of metal will unravel the whole truth of this case, my lord. Oh, she's on a little box! And his butt was on fire. Oh my gosh. Guys, we could see his underhand piece. That is so lewd. I did not realize. I'm so sorry, everyone. I am so sorry. I did not realize this would be such a lewd stream.
Very well then, present the pertinent evidence to the courts. What evidence, when paired with this fragment of metal, allegedly reveals the truth of this entire case?
Take that!
This is the knife that was found in the victim's back. And if you look closely, you will see that there is a small piece at the tip of the blade that is missing.
A common issue with the inferior blades sold at unsavory street markets. Criminals who use them regularly leave tips lodged in their victims' bones. And what of this particular knife? No doubt its tip has suffered a similar fate, now languishing somewhere near the spine of the victim.
Objection!
That's not the case. The tip of this particular knife blade is the very fragment of metal we discovered in the chamber of Mr. Garadev's pipe. Do you see that hair flip?
Lord Van Dykes! I don't believe it. A knife from the crime scene and this fragment of metal. A perfect match. Good golly gosh! Order! 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 Is this some sort of Eastern sorcery? This is no magic, my lord. This is a miracle. A miracle!
So Van Dykes has figured it out, has he? Stab the vampire in the heart, though, with words, not a steak. Ah, man, I could go for a steak, though. Now I can mention it. Teapots.
Explains extraordinary coincidence at once.
Well, yes, my lord. Crucial point. We have to ask ourselves here. When did the fragment of metal find its way inside Mr. Garadev's pipe? Something that was clarified for us in the most recent witness testimony.
Had this thing in my hand as usual at the time of the onslaught. Knocked it clean out of my hand with one of those soft projectiles she did, yes. I would have never been... It could have never been sent flying unless it was hit by something pretty solid.
I feel so bad for them, because this was such an accident.
Oh, dear me.
During the argument, between these two that occurred just as the victim was on the pavement below, Mrs. Garadev flung this knife at her husband. However, the knife missed Mr. Garadev instead of striking the pipe in his hand at the time.
Which caused the tip of the break off, of course.
They do! They're so soft and cute!
Good lord! Yes.
And that was when the tiny tip of the blade found its way inside Mr. Garadev's pipe.
The chances of that are 1,000,000 to 1!
And yet there's no other credible explanation for how the tip of the blade ended up in your pipe. And then, after losing the tip, the knife ricocheted off the pipe and flew out the open window. In short, this knife, which fell from the window in the Garadev's house, is the very same knife that struck the victim in the middle of the back in the street below.
Oh gosh! Oh dear! Oh.
No!
Objection!
Oh my god, he poured another one.
This one's a rosé. Full-bodied theory. I'll give you that. Full body.
It's a calf and full body. It's a wine thing, I guess.
A complex bouquet of seemingly trivial points plausibly arranged to create an almost plausible vintage. Allow me to toast my learned friend's characteristically Nipponiese approach to bottling his argument.
Sorry.
But after all, it is just a theory. The bottle, I fear, is corked. And because you see... it's spoiled by the insurmountable inconsistency.
We might be at this for a while. What?
Lord Van Dykes, explain yourself! What is this inconsistency you claim to have identified? An inconsistency of the simplest nature, my lord. The victim was found with the knife implanted in the middle of her back.
Yes, in her... Why'd you slap him again? That's right, you silly little man!
Now, Joan, old thing, what are you getting so excited about? Let us consider the basic facts of the case once more. The victim was walking along the pavement before being stabbed in the back and falling to the ground. If the knife had struck her, had fallen from above.
Again!
There's no possibility it could have planted itself in the victim's back. Order! fallen on her from above, it would have struck her on the top of her head.
Well, I knew I'd never liked this theory in the first place. I don't know, though. What really did happen?
It appears that events has made a rather spectacular blunder. The theory has even one inconsistency it cannot stand. Your theory, my learned friend, is history.
We're so close. I can see the truth. I was so sure we were on the right track. And now the way has been blocked completely by just one simple inconsistency. Or in other words, we simply need to eliminate that one inconsistency. The theory will stand. Mr. Sato! I'm honestly afraid he's gonna throw it at us. Like that cup. You mustn't worry, Mr. Naruhodo. You were just caught off guard, that's all. And your mind went blank. But if the path you are on is indeed correct, then a way will present itself. The key to this is in the court record, I'm sure. All the information you need is there.
It seems you have nothing to say, Maniponi's friend. Well, your silence speaks volumes. A tactic acceptance of your theory is fatally flawed.
Objection!
Objection! Yeti! This inconsistency doesn't mean I was on the wrong track. It means that I need to sharpen my mind and dig deeper for the truth. It's a test! Yes! If the knife fell on the victim's from above, there's no way it could have hit her in the middle of her back. Under normal circumstances, that is.
What are you implying? Counsel?
There's a piece of evidence in the court record that can explain this inconsistency. We should save just in case, because I might mess this up, and I don't want to have to redo everything if I die. That can explain how the knife that fell from above could have pierced the victim's back. We already have the answer.
Goodness! Goodness!
Wrong person.
Utter madness! Surely this must be the last time. Counsel, present the evidence to which you speak.
This is the last inconsistency, the final piece of the puzzle. If I can successfully make a sense of this, the truth will be laid bare at last. This is where I should save, actually. I gotta make sure I'm saving at the time that saves you guys time. The evidence that explains how the falling knife became lodged in the victim's back is...
Take that!
Yes! Oh, I was guessing. I was like, it's either one of the photographs, or it's this. The fourth book that I found at the scene. It's the final piece of evidence the defense will present.
The first book. Is that not Mr. Garrodeb's book?
Yes, and to understand its significance, we have to consider how it came to be at the scene in the first place. This photographic print clearly shows the book in question, and the victim holding it in her hand.
But as we all know now, it was the police constable who put the book between her fingers like that. Quite so, as part of his also transplanting the crime scene on the opposite side of the road.
That's true. However, as a part of his testimony, Constable Beat made an extremely enlightening statement on that point. But what made you place that book in the victim's hand?
Oh, well, sir, that's because that's how I found it. When we first ran over to the scene, and the victim was already holding the book. So, when I moved everything, I made sure it was still in her hand.
She was bending down to pick it up. In other words, the victim had already picked up the book with her own volition. And clearly, that must have been before she severed the knife wound.
Well, I should say so. After being attacked with a knife, I don't imagine she'd be doing much of anything.
So the question becomes, why did the victim have that book in her hand?
Bye! Bye, Jingo!
What?
I'm beginning to see what may have happened now. Oh, dearie me. We know that the book fell from the top floor to the garden household onto the pavement below, at precisely the moment that the victim was walking past.
Yes, at exactly that moment. The young woman was walking along the street in the light fog, when all of a sudden, the book fell right in front of her.
Book I threw?
Yes, Mrs. Scaredup. And what do you think the woman did? What would you do if you were walking along and suddenly a book landed in front of you on the pavement?
I really can't imagine it, but I suppose she might have reached down.
Oh, she's so cute.
And picked up the book.
Yes! That is exactly what the woman in fact did. She picked up the book.
Oh heavens!
And when the woman reached down to pick up the fallen book, what position would her back have been in? That's right, facing the sky, completely and utterly defenseless. Then, in the very next moment, while the woman was still bent over picking up the book, the next object fell from above, the jackknife, straight into the middle of her back. Oh yeah, we're big smart. And at that same time, walking by chance directly behind Mrs. Green, was the defendant, Mr. Soseki Natsume.
Well, I never...
It appeared to Mr. Natsume that the woman simply collapsed on the floor. In the dark and light, in the fog, he couldn't see the knife falling on her from above. 3 tacos? You didn't just make one damn bowl? You pulled the wool over our eyes. I hope they're delicious. And yes, welcome back with your 3 tacos.
And from the other direction, the constable and his wife saw no one but the victim and her apparent attacker. So there never was a real culprit from the scene in the first place.
No, this was nothing more than a series of unlikely events that accumulated in an unfortunate accident. Got some hashtag not sponsored gamer stuff, let's go. And that is the real truth behind this case. He looks so scary when he's like that. He's like, well, Mr. and Mrs. Garrett.
The very first time you showed me that knife, I had my suspicions. I wondered if perhaps it might have been something like that. There will be.
Poor Mrs. Garrett.
Of course, I never meant anything of the sort to happen, but it was all my fault, wasn't it? I take full responsibility. I let my anger get the better of me. I threw that book, and I threw a knife as well. John, dear. It's all right. I know. I'm ever so sorry. Truly. I'm sorry.
Aww. He always catches his wife. He did his best. Aww. Doing stuff for the people you love.
Lord Van Zykes, what news is Mrs. Garrett? She's been taken to the infirmary. It would appear that today's events have left her in an especially flustered state. However, I believe she will recover into due course. There's no cause for concern. Yes, unbeknownst to themselves, they caused what could have easily been a terrible tragedy. They shall have to prepare themselves for the consequences of their actions.
Yes, with our shared brain cells, you, me, and the poltergeists, we're gonna solve this.
There's some good news, however, my lord. I've just word from the hospital where the victim is being treated. Her condition is improving steadily, and the doctor believes she will regain consciousness soon.
That's good, because survival rates in the hospitals were pretty bad back then. I guess they did get better as the Victorian era went on, but before then, ooh, you're better off just shaking it off at home. It's strange. We've been talking about the victim all this time, but we never once met her. How wonderful. The woman is out of danger, it seems. Yes, that is good news.
So, Mr. Soseki Natsume.
Yeah, it's our boy!
Yes! On behalf of my fellow countrymen, I would like to take this opportunity to beg your pardon, sir. You came from your distant eastern homeland to study the great British Empire, and have been repaid in immeasurable unkindness. Please accept our heartfelt apologies. No, it is me who should be begging your pardon.
Oh no, Mr. Natsume.
That evening, when the young woman just collapsed on the pavement before my eyes, I jumped into the wrong conclusion again in my confusion. What conclusion, sir? Yeah, I was sure that the woman was dead.
Yes, Constable Beat said the same thing, didn't he? He thought she'd been killed too. I suppose she must have looked completely lifeless.
It's been about a year since I arrived in Great Britain now. I still can't get used to life here. I can't relax. I'm sure there are evil spirits lurking in the fog, like they're haunting me.
Poor Soseki-san. His imagination really has gotten the better of him. Yes, poor man.
So, when it happened, I thought the young woman had been taken by the fog spirits. I should have never not dropped my books like that and run away. I should have called for help, for a doctor, for police! Instead, I've managed to create a rift in the relationship of trust between our two empires. And for that, I am truly sorry.
You don't have to apologize.
One could indeed say there was some sort of mischievous spirit about it has been at work here, I think. One that created a chain of unfortunate mishaps. We were befooled by the spirit and led to false conclusions. But thanks to Lord Van Dykes and our young lawyer here from the east, that chain has now been broken and the spirit exercised. I heartily commend you both.
No.
Now then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Yes, my lord. In concluding this trial, I must ask you one last time for your decisions regarding the defendant's culpability. Are you ready to present your findings to the court? As a foreman of this jury, I can assure you we reached a fair and just conclusion.
I do declare the truth can be extremely cruel at times.
Well, I didn't suspect the woman next to me, that's for sure. Sitting in for the old bean whilst she's out of action, you know. But I know what her decision would be. Does that mean I'll finally be able to get in and start work? Well, it's about time. I say, I have a corker of a story to tell the grandchildren when I get home, won't I?
Abuya, Helmole!
Very well, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I hereby demand your final decision. Mr. Foreman!
Not guilty.
Not guilty!
Not guilty. Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty!
Not guilty.
Not guilty!
Not guilty.
Not guilty!
I got all their voices wrong. Or maybe the game got them all wrong.
Very well, Mr. Soseki Natsume. I hereby pronounce you not guilty.
Oh, we did Finally, a victory that feels just. Guys, did we not learn our lesson from the gilded case? Oh my god. There's so much fire in this courtroom. Guys! I too am excited for Jet Set Radio mode.
Oh, yes, my lord, sir. You are now free man once more. It's my hope that you will continue to further your education in British culture.
I really hope he doesn't die.
And may you never again be brought before me.
Oh yes, sir. Of course. On my life, I swear I'll never step foot in a courtroom again. I'm transported to tears.
Thank you, counsels. Court is adjourned.
Alright, let's take this to the end. 20th of February, 3:17 p.m. The Old Bailey, Defendant's Antechamber. Oh, Locum! Wait, you mean me? Of course! Is there another Locum here? Is there even one? Compared to the original Locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire, your name has become rather short, hasn't it? What's wrong with using my actual name? Oh, at last I'm free! I'm free! Joyful, joyous, jubilant, jubilation! Yeah, I think you're happy, party, happiness, hurrah! Oh, I'm pleased. Mr. Natsume is delighted. Would it be so hard just to say that, then? Locum, you did it! You saved me from the break! Well, what happened to the poor woman was in no way your fault, after all. I'm just glad everyone can see that now. No, not that! Lovely, loyal, Locum lawyer! Yes? I mean, as I said before, I just have never gotten used to the life here in Great Britain. Every time I look over my shoulder, I see foreigners. I see towering brick buildings. And from high up windows, I see them looking down at me, laughing like that little hunchback. Oh dear. I'm sure it's all in your head, Mr. Natsume.
But today, you Locum lawyer gave my gloom to boot. You stood firm behind that baronial bench before all those babbling British. You battled to the bitter end and playing fair the baffling truth. And when I beheld the blinding fireworks among the beams of the Bailey's roof, I bellowed, "Behold the best barrister ever born!"
Well, that's very flattering, and I'm very pleased for you.
This has given me a wonderful anecdote to recount to my old friends back in Japan.
This is Xamatic, this is our defendant. An anecdote? Is that what's to become of all my hard work?
Ah, there you are, my dear fellows. Ah! I apologize for keeping you waiting. I rose late this morning.
Oh, Mr. Sholmes, what a pleasure to see you.
I am here not a moment too soon. The disaster has been averted, I'm glad to say.
Oh!
The trial shall begin presently, Mr. Naruhodo, and I wish you the very best of luck.
It just finished.
What? No! Then my haste was in vain. Ah! It's you! Hairlock Sholmes! Oh, have we met, sir?
This is Mr. Natsume, the name you had arrested, Mr. Sholmes.
Ah, I see. I failed to recognize you at first. Our previous encounters have taken place in the gloom, either of your bleak lodgings or that prison cell. I simply couldn't place that curious face in the light. Charming. This is all your fault, Hairlock Sholmes. You're the reason I had to go through this terrible ordeal. I'm going to give you a piece of my mind. My apologies, sir, but I assure you, I have placed you now. You're the fellow who abandoned that poor young lady and ran off, are you not? Had she been taken to the hospital more urgently? I feel perhaps she would have regained consciousness by now. Oh.
Oh, sorry, Bowler! Yeah, tell me about it after the stream, for sure. Sorry, I just noticed that. I want to make sure we get this done. Because we're running into Romeo's time.
but it was unavoidable, I'm sure. We are but human after all. Anyone would have been shaken by such an experience. I do feel very badly about how I've behaved. Well, never mind. Now then, what was it you wanted to say to me, sir? Nothing. Priceless! Oh, I am sorry, really, but... that was quite priceless.
Seki-san.
Still, on the bright side, you've had an extremely entertaining experience without paying a penny.
Welcome to Ace Attorney. We're all JoJo posing here.
And it would seem you were not even found guilty. But there is no bright side.
Whatever do you mean, Mr. Natsume?
Even after this, I'm still cursed by the spirits, and now by the Reaper! Lord Van Zykes. I haven't forgotten, you know, that man, facing that man in court means. Even if you're found not guilty, you're still doomed!
It will be alright, Mr. Natsume. If the Reaper appears trying to make trouble, I will protect you. Hiya! Why? With perfectly executed Sasato takedown. Much as I like being turned on my head, a bit of a warning might be nice next time, Miss Sasato. I hope this man makes it. So, Mr. Natsume, what do you intend to do now? You mentioned something about recounting your experiences to your friends back in Japan?
Yes, I intend to return to my homeland soon.
Oh!
It has already been a year since I arrived in Great Britain. I visited universities, libraries, bookshops. I've been honored with the tutelage of professors. I've learned so much about the wealth of literature here and the city it's shaped. I've come to realize that it is my calling to sail home and tell my fellow countrymen about it.
That's very touching, Mr. Natsume.
Oh, and perhaps less veiled terms. You wish to patrol halfway through the world, halfway around the world to escape the terror of the Reaper's curse. That's not it at all!
His brow, though.
The more I learn of literature, the more this strange feeling claws at my insides. I feel compelled to return to my roots and attempt to pen a work of my own.
Oh, I see. A work of literature by Saseki-san. It could be an interesting read.
And what about Miss Sasato and yourself, Mr. Naruhodo?
Sorry? What about us?
Will you return to Japan alongside your mustached compatriots?
Why would we? A week has not yet passed since we arrived in London. And now, and only now does it feel as though we finally found our feet.
And you are accommodated in a hotel at present, are you not?
That's right, but we need to find lodgings before it bankrupts us. I've calculated that we can only afford another 10 nights before our entire budget is exhausted.
Well then, you could take my lodgings.
Oh, the windowless room?
But what it lacks in windows, it more than makes up for with the floor and ceiling and walls.
Right.
And of course, I'd be happy to leave behind the accursed evil spirit.
Oh my, an evil spirit!
Oh yes, it tries to suffocate you while you sleep. It's an infallible wake-up call.
We'll think about it if it's all right.
Perhaps I can offer him a welcoming alternative. Would you consider taking lodgings with me?
Really?
Well, a vacancy has conveniently presented itself. Though it is up in the attic, I might add.
Are you sure it isn't just a storage closet?
I spoke with the landlady this very morning on the matter of price, and Iris is cleaning the room as we speak. You must come at once. I presume you've no luggage to speak of?
Oh, this is simply wonderful! What an honor I would be taken to be invited to take lodgings in the great detective's offices quick! I'm too overcome for words. So you're suggesting we look elsewhere, is that Ben?
Then it's settled. Iris will prepare a welcome dinner this evening.
She's 10.
And you must come too, Mr. Natsume. I insist. I don't know what to say, but thank you. Yes.
Wonderful. Then I'll go and complete the paperwork for your formal release, Mr. Natsume. It shouldn't take long. Somebody's happy.
Welcome. I knew you wouldn't let me down. I'm truly delighted to have met you here in London.
Likewise, Mr. Natsume. It's been a privilege meeting you too. It's a shame that we're going to have to say goodbye so soon.
Well, I've come to realize that I belong in Japan. But Locum will meet again one day.
Yes, I'm sure. And hopefully by then, I'll be a successful lawyer.
Hopefully by then, I'll be a successful author.
Oh yeah, she's a big fan.
Well, my dear fellow, our carriage appears to have arrived. Shall we go, Mr. Naruhodo?
Yes, Mr. Sholmes?
I've little doubt Mr. Natsume will be released in time for dinner this evening.
And so, the Saseki-san's innocence successfully established. We rode with Mr. Sholmes to what was to become our new home. 221B Baker Street. 20th of February, 4:41 p.m. The attic room. It's actually quite nice up here. So this... is to be our new office, yes. Our office. I rather like the sound of that. Me too. It's simply wonderful, isn't it? I hope you can see this, Cosma. It's only a small step. And I'd like to think we're getting a little closer to your dream now.
So, my dear fellows, do you like the place?
Dang! It's kinda rocking that look. Mr. Sholmes, thank you so much. It's a delightful room, Mr. Sholmes. I simply adore it.
Good. I'm pleased to hear it. Iris and I are delighted to welcome you.
I hope everyone's hungry. It's nearly time for dinner. We'll eat as soon as Mr. Natsume arrives. We have a lot to celebrate. He's gonna die on the way. Iris, you must let me help you. All right then, Susie. You can be in charge of the salad. Splendid.
So, Mr. Naruhodo, how does it feel to have your own office in the capital?
It's very exciting, actually. I can't help wondering what adventures await us.
Those were precisely my sentiments when I first established my office at the premises. Until I discovered the dark truth about the city of London, that is.
Sorry?
London is a glorious place full of wonder, opportunity, prosperity, and mirth. But the brightness of lights casts the darkest of shadows.
Shadows? What do you mean?
Oh, I believe you're well aware of the murkiness that lies behind London's facade already. So, once again, Mr. Naruhodo. Welcome to London.
Honestly, I gotta say, real nice attic. I like it. Of course, at the time, I had no idea of the significance of those words Mr. Sholmes so casually spoke. But it wasn't long before my turn came. To lift the facade and see the true depth of mirth that lay behind it. End! Wow, that case took longer than I anticipated, but wow! Yes, always save the progress. I think now is a great place to call it, everybody. Yeah, I think now it's gonna let me unlock the next episode. Yeah! And the Hounds of Baskerville? Oh, it's called The Adventure of the Unspeakable Story. I was, Hound of Baskerville? We're doing Hound of Baskerville? Are you kidding me? Anyway, everybody, let's head over to the chat, shall we? Let's close down the game. Alright, I'm not gonna waste too much time. I'm gonna repost the link. If you aren't already there, you really should go see Romeo. Go see him. I feel so bad for going into his time. It's Half-Life 2. So go right now, everybody. I'm gonna do a quick wrap up. I just realized I still have spaghetti on my desk here. I should probably... There we go. Forgot about that. So I'll probably take a little bit of a break from Ace Attorney, just so then I can do some other things for a week or two. We'll see how I'm feeling. In the meantime, Poltergeist, I'm very excited for the rest of this week. Tech Radio, very special art streams starting. Gonna watch a movie watch along with Itzi. I'm so excited. And Sianna comes back on Saturday. I'm so excited. I miss her so much. Alright, everybody. In the meantime, don't cast you better mess with the pot. It's off camera. You can't see it. You can't see it. In the meantime, Polterguests, I have been your ghostess with the mostest, signing off. Mata yureto o yasumi. Bye bye, minna. Bye bye.